Welcome to Living the Empowered Life podcast, where we discuss all things empowering, encouraging and inspiring. My name is Yvonne Ellis. I'm an empowerment speaker, author, coach, trainer and founder of Yumi Empowerment, a company that facilitates the empowerment of people. I help people to make positive life change, live in their purpose and develop into their best version of self. I share stories, interviews, spiritual encouragement and actionable tips to empower, encourage and inspire you to live the life you want. So if you want to live the empowered life, join me each week on my podcast so we can take the journey together. Hello Empowered Lifers, welcome to Living the Empowered Life podcast. My name is Yvonne. This podcast is all about bringing you content that's empowering, encouraging and inspiring. I am your host and I live an empowered life, and what I try to do is to encourage others to live an empowered life and to take risks and to have courage to do the things they want. And in today's episode, I want to talk to you about looking for opportunities to do good. But before I get into that, how is your year going so far? We are now into February 2026. I can't believe I'm even saying that. We're now in the second month of a new year. Where has the time gone? How is your year going? How is your goal setting going? In the newsletter that I sent out end of January 2026, it was all about setting your intentions for the year. Have you set a focus or intention for 2026? Something I've done a little bit different than I have in other years when I've talked to you about goal setting, even though goal setting is important and having a focus and a vision of what you want. But this year I wanted to encourage you to set your intention. How is that going? I know probably with the rainy weather, it might not be motivating you. I can't believe how much it has rained this year. Every single week it has been raining, every single day. But you know, we can't complain, even though it can be annoying. Can't complain because, you know, rain is a sign of blessing. And a lot of countries in the world don't have rain often. So not going to complain, just trying to keep focus on my intentions and the things that I can do to make my own life better. And I would encourage you to do the same. So you may have noticed I haven't been on social media that much. It's been a very, very busy time for me with everything that I'm doing. I'm also going to do this year, or try and sort out this year, an assistant to support me with all my social media stuff, because with my consultancy work and all the other things that I'm doing, managing social media and everything else and getting it to where I need it to be is proving a little bit challenging. So that is a good thing that I'm able to, you know, see that work is being really busy. That's a sign that, you know, things are going in the right direction. But on a bit of a downside, it means that I have not been able to dedicate as much time to my social media stuff that I, you know, would like to. And yeah, it's a positive thing again that I am looking for an assistant this year. I've been praying about the right person to come alongside me and to do work with me on an ad hoc basis. First time actually in 7 years, because I've been doing everything myself right from the beginning. So that's an exciting development. Also as well, my books have been doing really well. What's been really strange actually, out of all my books, Into the Unknown, which is my third book, A Journey of Courage, Risk and Faith, is proving very, very popular with university students. That book has sold so many amongst university students. And again, on Thursday, I was doing lecturing at Greenwich University. I do guest lecturing for the BA and MA student program there. And I brought my books along. And, you know, again, that book has proved very, very popular. I think young people or younger men and women seem to kind of really resonate with having courage and risk, especially going into the careers that they are trying to do, going into social work and stuff. But I've just noticed this kind of theme and pattern with my third book, that it does seem to be very popular with the younger audience. And, you know, when I wrote that book, it was really for people like me who were like 35, 40 plus, who may have been doing the same thing for a long time. And I wrote that book to encourage and inspire them. Yet the book seems to be more popular with the younger um, men and women who are wanting to take courage and have risk and take risks to do different things. The older crowd are buying that book, but more popular for the older crowd, like 40 plus, is my Exceptional Not Expected books, which are doing quite well as well. And if you haven't checked out my new book, Exceptional Not Expected Volume 2, the link is in the show notes below. It's available on Amazon. It's going to be available on Waterstones and other places very soon. And there's going to be some other book developments that I'm going to share with you a little bit later on in the year, probably about April, May time. But do look out for those developments and do get those books, because they will encourage you to live an empowered life, to be not expected, but exceptional. So if you're looking for motivation and encouragement, those are the books you need to get. So in today's episode, guys, episode 119, I want to share with you about looking for opportunities to do good. Living the empowered life is really about you living a life, that is full of courage, taking risks, living the life you want, going after the things you want, maximizing your life, creating opportunities and taking those opportunities. But also as well, living the empowered life is also about empowering others, looking, for opportunities to do good to others. And the other day, I was in my prayer time in the morning and I was reading my Word for Today devotional. For those of you who don't know what that is, the Word for Today is a Christian devotional for 365 days of the year. And on each day, it has a word of encouragement supported by a biblical message to get you to think about your life and to get you to, look at things maybe from a different kind of perspective. And I have been reading this devotional since 1998. I was introduced to it by somebody who was in my life at the time, who was an older woman who was starting her own journey as a born-again Christian. And she was trying to encourage me. At the time, I wasn't a Christian. Actually, it was through her going church that I did become, the seed started to be sown for me to become a born-again Christian. But at the time, I wasn't a born-again Christian. And she used to give me this devotional. And ever since 1998, no matter where I've lived, I've always got this devotional. And on the 29th of January, 2026, I read something in this devotional that inspired me to want to do this podcast today. So I want to share with you what it says, and then I just want to share with you some points about doing good. So it starts off by saying, do not forget to do good and to share. And that comes from the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 16. It says, Peter describes the life of Jesus in 3 words, who went about doing good. That's from Acts chapter 10, verse 38. So becoming more Christ-like means looking for opportunities to do good. An anonymous author wrote, when people are unreasonable, illogical, self-centered and arrogant, love them anyway. When people insist that your goodness contains selfish motives, do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win both false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest, some will seek to twist your words against you. Be honest anyway. If you do good today, some may forget it tomorrow. Do good anyway. If you show yourself to be a big person with big ideas, don't be surprised if you are opposed by small people with small minds. Think big anyway. What you have spent years building, some may seek to destroy overnight. Build anyway. President Theodore Roosevelt said, it is not the critic who counts, nor the man or woman who points out where the doer of the deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man or woman who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends time himself or herself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst at least fails while daring greatly, so that his or her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So look for opportunities to do good. When I read that, I was so inspired and motivated. It just reminded me about what it means to live an empowered life. It reminded me that it's not dependent upon what other people say about what I do, say about me, say about my efforts, say about what good things I'm doing. It's not about none of that. And those things that those people might want to say, they may feel that it will have an effect on what I'm doing. But the point here is what the author is saying, the person who wrote that quote, is none of that matters. You should still seek to do the things that you're doing anyway, to seek to do good, to seek to act on your ideas, to seek to be kind, all these things. And that for me was a real encouragement, because we live in a world now where people are always trying to bring other people down. We live in a world where people who have no knowledge or wisdom about anything good have huge platforms with loads of views and subscribers, but yet they have not an ounce of wisdom. We're living in a world now where people love gossip and don't care for truth, don't care for people who are trying to do things that are valuable. They're only interested in their downfall and seeing them fall down. This is the type of world we are living in, but I'm constantly reminded when I read things like this, when I hear Bible scriptures like do unto others as you would have them do unto you, when I read scriptures that talk about, don't seek your reward here on earth because your reward is in heaven. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. When I read scriptures like that, it just reminds me of the power of doing good, the power of, seeking for others what you would want for yourself, knowing that they may never return it. There's a freedom in having that type of attitude towards life. So what are the opportunities to do good? A lot of people may think that these things are big gestures, but it's the small unseen things that sometimes mean, or even more, most of the time mean the most to other people. Every single day when I'm out and about, I look for opportunities to do good. It doesn't matter what it is. And those opportunities, I won't say little opportunities, those opportunities to do good could be doing things as simple as opening doors for other people, giving up your seat on the bus when you see somebody in need of a seat, helping somebody with their shopping on the bus, like an elderly person, using a skill or talent that you have for free to, enhance or make somebody else's life better. One of the skills that I have is to write CVs. I have been doing my own CV for many, many years when I was in employment. And then I started to do other people's CVs. People would come to me and say, Yvonne, would you do my CV? And I would do other people's CVs. I wouldn't charge them for it. I've done many CVs for other people, and, that to me has been a big blessing, because it's about me using what I have, to help them to get what they don't have. And maybe there's something that you have that is a skill or talent that, maybe you could, in your community or friends or family, give for free, just to support or encourage somebody. It's very different, than, you having a business and giving away things for free. I'm talking about you see somebody in need of something, or they've asked you for something that they don't have, and you bless them with that skill or talent that you have. That is another way that you can do good for others. A common way that people think about when they think about doing good onto others or doing good anyway is to volunteer for an organisation or in their church or something, using their time to help other people. And, doing good isn't dependent on whether others do good for you. That's something I think a lot of people hold on to, because in the world that we live in now, it's very selfish. A lot of people, give to receive and don't just give out the goodness of their heart. You should be seeking to do good, not dependent on whether somebody does good for you, because that is the right mindset to have. It is the right posture of heart to have. Of course, in an ideal world, we would all like it if, when we did good for others, others would do good for us. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in a fallen world where people are selfish. And, we have all been like that at times, or maybe we can all still be like that at times. But the point here is that we are seeking to live an empowered life and seeking opportunities to do good, even to those around us who we feel don't deserve it. It takes a lot to do good, but the message here today that I'm encouraging you with is to do good anyway. And remember, it's not about seeking and doing it in front of other people just for them to say, oh, look what a good person so-and-so is. No, it's about quietly going about your way, seeking to do good to others without the applause, without the recognition, because your Father in heaven, as it says in the scripture, your Father in heaven will give you your reward. And your reward might not be here and now on earth. It might be, it might not, but that is where you should be seeking your reward. And in everything else, seek to do your best, seek to do good anyway. Doesn't matter what the naysayers say, doesn't matter what people who've never had any experience of even stepping outside their comfort zone say. Continue to do the good things that you're doing anyway, and just continue to live your life in a way that not only empowers you but also empowers other people. So guys, that is what I wanted to share with you today, this message about doing good anyway. And as I started this episode with the Bible scripture, Hebrews chapter 13 verse 16, I want to finish with it also as well today. It says, do not forget to do good and to share. So that is it for this episode, guys. It was a short and sweet one today. I hope that it has given you food for thought. Remember that the standard that we are seeking in living the empowered life isn't dependent upon anybody else. It's about the standards we are setting for ourselves in our own lives. As usual, when I do the post notification, in the comments, tell me what you thought about this episode, and do check out my books and other resources that is available from Yumi Empowerment. All links are in the description box and the show notes. Until the next episode, guys, take care.